Hello aspirants, today we are going to discuss few of the major topics from the subject of building materials and construction. We have selected 50 of the topmost topics which could be the potential questions in the examination. This is the part 1, stay tuned for the next part. Gypsum is a chemically precipitated sedimentary rock. Now, this is an important point that gypsum is a chemically precipitated sedimentary rock. The main point here is gypsum is a sedimentary rock. So in the question could be framed as, okay, gypsum is a sedimentary rock or a metamorphic rock or igneous rock. So the answer would be gypsum is a sedimentary rock. Moreover, you should know that gypsum's chemical formula is CaSO4.2H2O, and one more thing, that hardness can be measured by Mohs scale. There are other tests also, Rockwell test, Noob's hardness test, but that is not important for now. Next point is sandstone. It is also a sedimentary rock. Now, sandstone changes into quartzite. Now, quartzite is a metamorphic rock. Therefore, by the metamorphic action on sandstone, the resultant rock which we get is quartzite. That is the point that has to be noted here. Alright, these are some of the images of quartzite. Therefore, quartzite is a non-foliated metamorphic rock which composed almost entirely of quartz. And also, when sandstone is altered by the heat, pressure and chemical activity of metamorphism, we get quartzite, as mentioned before. The third point is, now we have discussed three important rocks here. Slate is a fine-grained foliated homogeneous metamorphic rock. So main point is slate is a metamorphic rock. And now we have shale. And one more thing, slate is obtained by metamorphic action on shale. Therefore, shale should be a sedimentary rock. Yes, shale is a sedimentary rock, and by the metamorphic action on shale, we get a metamorphic rock that is known as, absolutely correct, that is slate. Now, one more thing, it is sometimes also known as mudstones, shale. Now, quartzite, we have already discussed quartzite as a metamorphic rock, as we have discussed in this slide. And this is slate, shale and quartzite. Slates is formed by the metamorphic action on shale, which is a sedimentary rock. Now, quartzite, already discussed, metamorphic rock. And one more thing, quartzite consists entirely of, or almost entirely of, silicon dioxide. Therefore, 99% is silica. It is a siliceous rock. The question could be formed as, quartzite is composed of, or quartzite is termed as a siliceous rock, or calcareous rock, or calcareous rock, or argillaceous rock. Pardon my pronunciation, but the point here is that quartzite is a siliceous rock. Now, these are different minerals in rock. Some of the important ones, that black mica, therefore mica is a mineral, copper is a mineral, so is diamond, feldspar, gold, talc, silver, quartz, magnetite and halite. Now, these are minerals, not rocks. Rocks are mainly defined as igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic. Therefore, basalt, gabbro, granite, obsidian, pumice, if these are rocks, these are igneous rocks. And if breccia, conglomerate, limestone, sandstone and shale is us, it is sedimentary rock. And if metamorphic rocks are us, gneiss, marble, metaquartzite, schist, slate, quartzite, these all are metamorphic rocks. And there's one more slide that defines this igneous rock granite, diorite, felsite, basalt, obsidian. In addition to gabbro and pumice, so are sedimentary rocks, conglomerate, sandstone, shale, limestone, dolomite, and so is breccia. And metamorphic rocks, slate. Yep, slate, schist, serpentine, quartzite, marble, and so is gneiss. Now, what is slate? We have already discussed. It is a metamorphic rock that is created by the alteration of shale, which is a sedimentary rock. Now, sandstone, it is a siliceous, aqueous, and sedimentary rock. We know already it is a sedimentary rock. Quartzite is mostly made of silicon dioxide. Therefore, we can also know that sandstone is also a product of silica. And one more thing to note here is aqueous rock. These are those which are deposited from water and lie in strata, as opposed to volcanic rock, which are of igneous origin. Therefore, aqueous rocks are deposited by or from water. Now, there's one more thing, that sandstone color and texture depends on the geological makeup. It can be gray, red, white, blue, black, anything. Among these, and it is soft in texture and medium grained, and subangular or well-rounded. Gypsum. We've already discussed that gypsum's formula is this. It is a precipitated sedimentary rock, and Mohs circle is used to measure hardness, and specific gravity is 2.31 or 2.33. A heavy stone can be used for constructing retaining wall. Some few images of retaining walls. Stones for rubble masonry should be hard. We have two types of masonry, stone masonry. One is rubble, and the other is ashlar, and they are further divided into various types depending upon how the masonry is constructed, how they are arranged. Now, quartz is physically and chemically resistant to weathering. When quartz bearing rocks become weathered and eroded, the grains of resistant quartz are concentrated in the soil. Therefore, quartz is extremely resistant and not prone to weathering. Therefore, extremely resistant against chemical and physical weathering, it's quartz. A good building stone must not absorb water more than 5%. Therefore, if a stone does not absorb water more than 5%, that means it has water absorbing capacity of less than 5%, then it is defined as a good building stone. Now, compact sandstone can be defined of having good fire resisting characteristics. Jumper tool. What's the use of jumper tool? It is used for stone quarrying. Jumper tool is the eye. This is claying iron, and this is jumper tool. This is used for stone quarrying. Now, weight test is important for stones to be used in docks and harbour. Now, if there is construction of docks and harbour for ships and other marine vehicles or aquatic vehicles, then it is important to conduct weight test for the stones that are to be used for the construction of docks and harbour. Now, the main constituent responsible for strength in granite is quartz. Due to its cost, granite is not suitable to be used in ordinary building construction. This is general idea that it is 50 to 400 per square feet. This could be higher, this could be lower. Granite is suitable for construction of piers and abutments of a railway bridge. Now, the preparation of surface of stone to obtain plain edges or to obtain stones of required sizes and shapes is known as dressing of stones. Crushing strength of a good building stone must be greater than 100 megapascal. Specific gravity of most of the building stone lies between 2.5 to 3. Spalling hammer is used for rough dressing of stones. These are different types of hammer. This is the spalling hammer. It is used for rough dressing of stones. Crosscut saw is used for hard stones. Sapwood is the portion between hardwood and cambium layer. This is the cambium layer. This is sapwood and this is the hardwood. This is the pit. One more image to explain this better. This is pit, this is the hardwood, this is the sapwood, this is the cambium layer, which is further divided as radials. In radial section we can see that this is the bark, this is the peridium, that cork, cambium, and this is the final cork. Now, shisham, it is a tree that yields hardwood. Now, this is also a potential question that arises or comes frequently in the examination, that which tree yields hardwood and softwood. Therefore, example of softwoods could be pine, cedar, and hardwood as beech, oak, mahogany, teak, and also shisham. And one more thing, hardwood comes from a deciduous tree which loses its leaf annually, and softwood comes from a conifer, alright, which remains evergreen. Hardwood tends to be slower growing and are therefore more dense. Softwood trees are known as gymnosperm. This could be an additional information, and these are additional information such as hardwood has pores which make the grains denser and resistant, and softwood has medullary rays and tracheids. It tends to be softer. It is more expensive with a slower grow rate, and softwood is cheaper since it has a faster growth rate. Now, hardwood color circles around white, brown, and certain darker shades of red. Main points is dark, that hardwood is darker. For example, we can see one more point to be remembered here is resinous wood is generally associated with softer wood species like pine that secrete resin as a way to protect themselves from bugs and disease. Now, color of softwood lighter, hardwood darker, already discussed. Same goes for growth, faster in softwood and slower in hardwood. Heat density, annual rings, indistinct in hardwood and sapwood, distinguishable in hardwood, and strength along and across grains. It is only strong along grains. Conversion to different structures is difficult in hardwood since it being high in density, heavier, and also because of the fact that it is hard. It does not exist. It is not usually resinous. And main thing is examples. These are highly important to note. Share, fir, conifer, softwood, teak, sal, shisham, mahogany, oak. These all are hardwood. Now, radial splits, which are wider on the outside of the log and narrower towards the pith, are known as star shakes. Wider towards the circumference or the outside of the log and narrower here. Therefore, these are star shakes. See, now defects or these shakes can be of different types. Therefore, cup shakes, heart shakes, ring shakes, radial shakes. These are the shakes. And if this type of projection is observed, these are known as rintigall. And if the fibers are twisted, it is twisted fibers, and these are knots. These kind of projections that arise out. But if the projection is more and it is due to uncut trees or branches, it is known as rintigall. Sal, teak, shisham yield hardwood, cher, deodar, fir yield softwoods, already said. Mulberry wood is suitable for making sports product. Shisham can be used for decorative woodwork. Much of it is due to its ability to be polished properly, or to ability to acquire an excellent finish. One more thing, that shisham is also known as Dalbergia siso. It is a deciduous tree. We have already discussed that hardwood comes from deciduous tree. Therefore, it is much obvious that shisham is a deciduous tree. It is native to India, Pakistan, and Nepal. It is also called as siso and Indian rosewood. Now, disease of dry rot in timber is caused by lack of ventilation. These are some of the pictures of dry rot. See, one more thing, if any one of you wants to read these slides, please pause the video and read the slides. Because of the restriction of the time limit, I am hurrying the things a little and pointing out only the major facts. But please, if you want to read, please pause the video and read. Thank you. Now, plywood has the advantage of having same tensile strength in all directions. These are certain types of plywoods. And one more thing, that these are advantages and disadvantages. And plywood is a material manufactured from thin layers or plies of wood veneer that are glued together with the adjacent layers, having their wood grain rotated up to 90 degrees to one another. The tensile strength in the direction of the grain is usually 10 to 20 times more than its strength perpendicular to the grain in timber. Therefore, it is important to note that tensile strength in the direction of grain is 10 to 20 times more than perpendicular to the direction of grain. The moisture content in a well-seasoned timber is 10 to 12%. This is what is seasoning of timber, that it is the process by which moisture content in the timber is reduced to required level. By reducing moisture content, the strength, elasticity, and durability properties are developed. This is one more point, that newly felled trees contain a considerable quantity of sap. If this sap is not removed, the timber is likely to warp, crack, and shrink. It may even decay. Therefore, seasoning is important to extract moisture under controlled conditions, but it should be conducted in a uniform rate so that there is uniform reduction of water content from the timber, from the seasoned timber. Otherwise, irregular drying will cause irregular shrinkage, resulting in the setting up of internal stresses between the fiber. And please, if you want to read more, you can go and visit this site from which this has been observed. This is one of the way seasoning of timber is taken place or is conducted. Now, the trunk of tree after cutting all branches is known as log. The age of tree can be known by annular rings. For example, in 1690 it was observed that it had so many annular rings, in 1700, and so on. Plywood is made by bonding together thin layers of wood in such a way that the angle between grains of any layers to grains of adjacent layer is 90 degree. Plywood has a greater resistance to impact load to blows than ordinary wood. Therefore, we could conclude that plywood has greater impact resistance than the ordinary wood. The practical limit of water content by air drying is 15%. The first class timber has an average life of 10 years and more. Alright, 120 months, and class 2 is usually 16 months but less than 10 years. Sorry, I beg your pardon, 60 months or 5 years, and less than 10 years. And average year, if it is less than 5 years, it is class 3. A first class brick should not absorb more than 20% of water when immersed in cold water for 24 hours. Crushing strength of a first class brick should not be less than 10.5 Newton per mm square. For common building bricks, it should be 3.5 Newton per mm square, and for second class, it should be 7 Newton per mm square. Now, let's talk about bricks. What does alumina impart in brick? It imparts plasticity. Now, this is a table, you can go through it, that which color arises due to which constituent present in the brick. For example, if it is pure, if iron is in excess, then red color is imparted. And similarly, these are the major constituents in a brick. Alumina is about 20 to 30%, and that gives plasticity, as already discussed. Silica is 50 to 60%, and so on. Now, alumina in good bricks is about 20 to 30%. Now, what does excess of alumina impart? It imparts cracks and warping. Acceptable or preferable. Nominal size of modular bricks is 20 by 20 by 10. Percentage of silica in bricks is 50 to 60%. Excess of silica in brick earth results in loss of cohesion. Silica enables the brick earth to retain its shape, and the process of mixing clay, water, and other ingredients to make bricks is known as kneading. This is the general diagram. I've taken it from this website, so all courtesy to them. For example, wheel loader, then the clay or the stone is fed into box feeder. It is then crushed and then finally crushed, then mixed. After mixing, clay bricks are extruded, then they are cut, then automatic bricks settling machine, then kiln car, and then entering dryer and tunnel kiln, and dryer and tunnel kiln exit. Then we finally get the product of finished brick. Now, this is kiln, this is clamp. These are two various places where bricks can be made. Advantage of clamp in comparison to kiln in brick making is that it has less initial cost. The internal size of mold is greater than the final size of fully burnt kiln. I beg your pardon, fully burnt clay brick. This is that the internal size of the mold is greater than the final size of the fully burnt clay brick. Now, pug mill is used for preparation of clay. Alright, this was all for this time. Thank you.